Hi guys, welcome back. Let's learn another key and very useful concept in Pandas, GroupBy. GroupBy is one of the most important and key functionality in Pandas. It allows us to group the data together, call aggregate functions, and combine the results in three steps: split, apply, and combine. Before we move on to the hands-on, let's try to understand how this split, apply, and combines work. We will use a very simple data with different colors in our example. So here we are given with the data, which has a key column and a data column. The keys are A, B, C, and D. The colors are chosen to make things clearer and easier to understand. In the first step, which is split, the data contained in a Pandas object, such as series or data frame, is splitted into groups based on one or more keys that we provide. In our example, we have keys A, B, C, and D. The data is splitted based on keys and is represented with different colors. The splitting is performed on a particular axis of an object. For example, a data frame can be grouped on its rows where x is equal to 0 or its columns where x is equal to 1. In this example, the splitting is along the rows. So in the next step, which is apply, once the splitting is done, a function such as sum, mean, and standard deviation is applied to all groups independently, which produce a new value. In the final step, which is combine, the results of the applied functions in apply step are combined into a resultant object. So all these three steps, split, apply, and combine, are applied within a GroupBy function, and we get a resultant at the end. Let's move on to the Jupyter Notebook and learn with examples now. So I hope you got a good understanding of GroupBy's steps: split, apply, and combine. Let's try to understand this with some examples now. So the first thing first, we need to import NumPy and Pandas. Let's run this cell and import NumPy and Pandas as NP and PD. Let's create a dictionary and convert that into Pandas data frame. I will go to the reference notebook and copy the code from reference notebook, and let's paste it here. So our dictionary is data, which has store, customer, and sales as keys, and list of stores: Walmart, Walmart, Costco, Costco, Target, and Target. Customer names are unique: Jim, Jeremy, Mark, Denise, Ray, and Sam. Whereas sales are numerical values: 150, 200, some random values. So we are passing this dictionary to pd.data frame and converting that into a Pandas data frame. And after that, we are getting this data frame in the output. Let's run this cell. So here we have our data frame. Let's group the data in our data frame based on stores using GroupBy method. What we need to do, we need to grab the data frame, df, access the GroupBy method using dot operator, GroupBy, and pass in the column that we want to group our data on. So here it is. Let's run this cell. So this code has generated a data frame GroupBy object. somewhere in the memory at location this one. Let's give this object to some variable by store and rerun this cell. So now we have the data frame GroupBy object stored in by store. We can apply aggregate functions on by store now, such as mean, max, standard deviation, sum, and so on. Let's call mean on by store and run this cell. So now the pandas will apply mean on number columns, which is sales. It ignores the non-numerical columns automatically. And same is true if we apply standard deviation, maximum, or other aggregate functions. Another thing you can notice that the result in data frame with store as index and sales as column. So we can write this code in one line as well, such as df and then call group by on df store column dot call mean. Let's call sum here instead of mean and run this code. So this is the sum, and if we want to grab, say, target, we can call dot loc and pass in target, and this will return only target in the output. So let's run this cell. So we have target and its sale is 550, which is the total sale of the target. We can perform whole lots of aggregation operations on by store object. Let's try some of them. By store, say minimum, min. So let's try max here to see what are the max values. So these are the maximum values. And let's try standard deviation as well. So STD. So here we have the standard deviation. So we can count the instances in the column as well. In that case, we have to call count. And let's run this cell. Notice that for Costco, we have 2 customers and 2 number of sales. For Target, we have 2 customers and 2 number of sales. And same for Walmart. Another very useful function that we learned before is describe. Let's call describe on by store. So describe. So this is the describe output, which gives a bunch of useful information. So just to present this data in another way, let's call transpose on after describe and run this cell. So now we have the same data in a different orientation. Stores, Costco, Target, Walmart, count, mean, and so on, max. We can call a column name for a selected store to separate information with transpose as well. So let's see if we want to copy this one and paste it here, and we can pass in Costco here. So the only thing we need to pass in square brackets Costco and run this cell. So here we have the information for a selected store, which is Costco. So this was all about a GroupBy function. I hope you got a very good understanding on GroupBy. As a quick overview, we created a dictionary and then data frame called GroupBy on our data frame and stored the object in by store, and then called mean and some other functions on by store object, and then we called describe, used transpose so that the data look in different orientation, Then we learned that we can grab information for a selected store as well. See you in the next lecture where we will learn some useful functions that we will be using in this course for data analysis, data visualization, and machine learning. Good luck.